What's up, family? What's happening? It's 6:30. Time to get a little sharper. Welcome to the Anti-Negativity Network. And as you can see, finally, finally, she don't have to chime in on Facebook. She ain't got to chime in. She here. That's right. Somebody got to get excited. And it's me. I'm excited. So I'm glad to have her back. So, what's up, family? We here. Make it do what it do. Another Thursday, 6:30. Time to get a little sharper. Hope you're good. Having a good week so far. I know I am because she here with me. So, we about to do this. You want to say anything, babe?
Hello. It's good to be back. It's good to be here.
So, glad she here. So, but we're going to jump into this thing and do what we do. All right? Let's go. Count of three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let me make a little slight adjustment here. Make sure we good. Make sure you can hear us loud and clear. All right. So we're going to jump into chapter 28. We in Genesis chapter 28. And I'm asking that you stick with me because I actually got something at the end. Now, we're kind of going to switch gears a little bit. I ain't tell her about it. But I'm going to switch gears a little bit at the end just before we chime out for the evening. But we're going in chapter 28. And we just been having some discussion about chapter 28. I kind of wish I was able to just to hit the button right as we was talking. Because chapter 28, which actually... you actually have to read the end of chapter 27 and then flow right into chapter 28. And the big thing that we want to talk about this, I always come out with some kind of a saying at the very beginning. I didn't come with one this time because I was too excited the fact that she's here with me. But last week I asked a question about what's going on in your family, right? Well, guess what? This week we got to talk some more about this family thing, right? Because and we just talked about it. Some of the worst hurt we get in life comes from where?
Family.
From the family, from within, right? Hey, Mama Jane, hope you're doing well. And so we want to kind of dive a little deeper into this because chapter 28 is a continuation of what's been happening in Genesis anyway. It's been a whole lot of family dynamics throughout Genesis, right? 28 is just another example. And so we have here where, if you go back to the very beginning, you have this situation. What is this? We're just going to talk about Isaac's household. You got Isaac and you got Rebekah. Right? They have 2 sons, Esau and Jacob. And just within the 4 of them, there's a whole lot going on. Isaac loves Esau. Rebekah loves Jacob. You got Isaac and Rebekah. I don't think they're really on the same page when it comes to raising their 2 sons. Right? Remember, they also did something that their previous grandfather had done. And they duped Abimelech, right? I think I got myself mixed up there. But anyway, the bottom line, no, they did. Mm-hmm. It was Isaac and Rebekah. And so they doing some stuff that they ain't got no business doing. And then you got Esau and Jacob from the time they was in mama womb, before they even got hatched. They've been at each other. And it continues. And here you have this situation where Esau is now plotting to kill his brother because his brother has gotten him again. If you remember, Isaac blessed Jacob, but Jacob, through his mama, duped the daddy because Isaac was losing his sight. So they set him up. He thinking he blessing Esau when he ended up actually blessing Jacob. So now we got all that family dynamic going on. Esau is dealing with 3 types of hurt. Okay? hurt that his father, who he felt loved him the most, gave his blessing to Jacob. He already has an estranged relationship with Rebekah because Rebekah favors Jacob. And then you got Jacob that got over on him twice. And now he's ready to kill him. Now, you think you got some stuff going on in your family. How about you being in Esau's position? How would you like to live the life of Esau? Come on, baby, got something.
Oh no.
Yes.
Keep going. Okay.
So, this is some family dynamics going on right here. And I do want you to come on and talk about that because, again, when you talk about family dynamics and family hurt, it's real. Now, just think about where Esau is right now. Come on.
Well, yeah, family hurt is a lot of people are doing a lot of things because of family hurt. A lot of self-destructive things because of family hurt. And oftentimes, you have to go back to the root. You have to find the root cause of why you're doing what you are doing. You know, and it takes a lot of courage and a lot of self-work and a lot of determination and desire to want to heal and get better, to go back to the root cause. But that is so necessary. And as Ron said in Esau's case, you know, the root cause was the dynamics between his mother and father, or the root cause was the dynamics of his brother tricking him, or not feeling worthy or loved or accepted. And so again, you have to go back. All of us have to go back and really, really contemplate and think and dig. Until we do that, we cannot move forward. We cannot move to that place of wholeness, or that place of love, or that place of forgiveness, or that place of healing, or that place of seeing life in
that peace and that joy that
in a beautiful light, as opposed to a dark light. So you know, I kind of feel sorry for Esau in this situation.
And if you think about it, if you read, and I always tell you, go read it for yourself, but also if you read in chapter 28, the situation, let's just talk about a little bit more, but it's something that happened with Esau that I think also kind of added into the whole drama, the whole family situation, the hurt. And so, because what happened also in chapter 28 is that now you got Rebekah telling Jacob, go ahead and leave. I want you to go ahead and leave because your brother, he's trying to kill you, okay? So I'm not trying to lose both of you. So I want you to go ahead and leave, and I'll send for you. And so in the process of him leaving, before he leaves, Isaac blesses him because, again, in chapter 27, Isaac blessed Jacob, even though he earned it, but he got, and I can't say earned it, he got it in a not so nice way. I don't know where I want to say.
He tricked his brother.
There you go. So he did some dirty to try to call it clean, right? He did some dirty, him and his mama, did something dirty to get the blessing, okay? And so he got the blessing. Isaac blesses him, sends him on his way, tell him, hey, look, your mama is sick and tired. Even reading chapter 27, mama actually said, New Living Translation says, mama's sick and tired of these Hittite women. So she didn't want Jacob to marry any Hittite women. And then Isaac come back and said, no, don't marry any of these Canaanite women, okay? So he kind of gave him specific directions. Don't marry any of them. Go on about your business. Go where we're sending you and to find your wife. But go on and we'll send for you later on. But go ahead and leave. You're blessed. We got you. Go do your thing. Esau hears this. Don't lose your point. But Esau hears this, okay? He's aware of all of this that's taking place. And so what does he do? He goes and marries another woman because he already had married 2 Hittite women. That's another reason why Rebekah said she was sick and tired of these Hittite women, because he was already married to 2 Hittite women and they were driving Isaac and Rebekah crazy, okay? And so now he goes and gets somebody from Ishmael, okay, which was his uncle, okay? And so, because that was, Ishmael was Isaac's brother, okay? Different mama, but same daddy. So they, guess you could say they were stepbrothers or whatever. However, anyway, stepbrothers. But the bottom line is, Esau goes to Ishmael's camp to get another wife, which was a Canaanite. So did he do that out of spite? Did he do that out of hurt? Did he do that just to get back at them? Because they told Jacob don't do it, but he decided he was going to do it, which is what he did. So did that come out of a place of hurt? Did that come out of a place of anger? Did that come out of a place of just, I want to get back at you because of the family hurt?
And so we all know that, hurting people hurt people.
Right.
We've heard that. So this was a prime example. Esau was hurting. So, his natural response is to hurt,
yes.
Those who hurt him.
Yeah.
Another aspect that Ron and I were talking about was, don't let me lose my train of thought here.
Gotcha.
Okay. Was talking about, again, dealing with the family dynamics of that although Jacob tricked his dad into blessing him, God still blessed him and still made him the receiver of the promise that he made to Abraham.
Right.
And so we were just talking
Abraham
about some things we'll just never understand.
No.
Some things we just don't know. It doesn't make any sense to
us,
our natural mind, but God knows why things happen, and the reasons why things happen. And then we were kind of relating it to even the election situation here now. Some things we'll just never understand.
You'll never understand. You'll never understand why things happen the way they happen.
Right. So, and there are a lot of situations where we see where God has blessed people that we personally think shouldn't get blessed because we know all the stuff that they've done. But again, our ways are not God's ways and our thoughts are not his. So, God has his reasons. We don't know, we see what we see, but we don't know all the dynamics. We don't know if the person that we feel shouldn't be blessed, have a dynamic relationship with God, or
and you don't know what the future holds behind that blessing as well, right?
It's the same thing like with relationships with parents. You may not like your parents, or you may not like your father or your mother because of some things that they've done to you, but you really do not know their story. You do not know all the stuff that they went through, they experienced,
how they got to
who
that
exploited them, who abused them, who used them, we don't, a lot of times we really do not know their story. And so, we may say, well, my parents was this and they shouldn't get blessed and, whatever. But God knows their story. God knows when they were 9 years old and, they lost their mother or, when, he knows everything about the person from beginning to the end.
Right.
Things that we don't have.
And he knows what's coming too. Go ahead.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's it.
You're flowing with it.
Some things we just don't know. We don't have the answers, and it's okay to say we don't know.
Right.
But the Bible again is a good example of how God blesses what we think is the undeserving. Like the Israelites. You know how many times the Israelites rebelled against God over and over and over and over and over again.
Right.
But God, that
was their chosen people.
Yeah, God blessed them.
God said it was his chosen people. So the bottom line is and great stuff she just said, and man, that's why I'm glad she's back. But the bottom line is that we see people have certain blessings or be in certain positions in life, and we kind of marvel at that and wish we were in that position or wish we had what they had. You might want to be a little careful for that, though. Be careful what you ask for, because again, you don't know how they got there, number one. Number two, you don't know what it may take of them, what is required of them to keep it. Okay? You don't know everything involved in that. You just seeing at that moment what they have, but you don't know what's really happening behind the scenes or what's to come. So you might want to just go ahead and back off that a little bit, because the reality is all of us are blessed. All of us have been blessed in some way, shape, or form. And God knows we have not been deserving of it. And it was no different right here. Jacob got blessed. Was he deserving of it? In our mind, based upon what we read, no, he wasn't. But at the end of the day, he was blessed. But we don't know what was required of him. We don't know what was behind. See, we don't know what was behind closed doors. What was happening when he was one-on-one with God. We don't know what was happening. Again, you got to look at the family dynamics going on behind closed doors. We don't know what's going on in somebody else's household. We only see what has come from it. Okay, or we only see that certain aspect of it. We got to be careful. Be careful.
And we know from experience, even within our families, a lot goes on behind closed doors.
Yes, indeed.
A lot.
A lot of folk don't know. They don't see what's happening behind the door. They just only see what's happening out there in the street. Okay? But they don't know the mess. They don't know the foolishness. They don't know the conversations, right? Okay? And so we just want to be careful about that. You just deal with your own. Okay? So one thing we must learn from this right here is that it ain't always what it look like. Okay? Just because somebody got blessed and we don't think they should be blessed, we might want to pause for a second on that. Okay? Because that could be us. So, the other part of 28 that we want to touch on real quick, because we always trying to somehow, we just walking through Genesis. And here we on chapter 28. The second half of chapter 28 was Jacob actually was on his way to where they sent him to, but he stopped along the way, laid down for the night, get his rest, laid his head on a rock. I don't know how comfortable that was, but evidently it was some good sleep for him, right? So he laid down on a rock, but he ended up with a dream. And if anybody have ever heard that talked about Jacob's ladder, well, here you go. This is chapter 28. Okay, my wife just reminded me.
Yeah, Ron was like, is that the ladder that we sing about?
So Jacob's ladder. If you ever heard anything about Jacob's ladder, that's what they're talking about here in chapter 28. And really, he just had a dream, and it was a dream of a ladder reaching from earth to heaven. And God actually spoke to him and said, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to give you the land that you're on, and then your descendants, and you're going to be spread out from the east to the west, to the north, to the south. So you're going to be blessed. I got you. I'm going to take care of you. You just go forward with what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. So that's pretty much what he told him. And then he wakes up from the dream and he realizes, man, I just had an encounter with God. Okay. And you ever had those dreams that you wake up from and it's like so real. It is so real that it takes you a minute to get yourself together to even find out if you're still living it or if it was really a dream. Because sometimes it's so real that it shakes you for a minute. And that's exactly what happened with Jacob right here. In this dream that he had, it was so real to him that he woke up happy, but at the same time, if you read in chapter 28, he was also afraid because the dream was so real and his encounter with God. So that makes me think right there, when we have a true encounter with God, it even in a dream, boy, it can blow your socks off, right? It can mess you up, okay? A true encounter with God is nothing to play with. It's real. And Jacob was an example of it right here in chapter 28. Yeah.
No, you said it. Sometimes it shakes you. You'll know.
Yeah.
You will know.
Yeah.
You know.
And Jacob did that right here, and he got shook. But it was a good shaking, okay? And as a result, he took that rock and set it up and poured oil on it and called it Bethel, which ironically was something his grandfather Abraham did as well, and called it Bethel as well, which is God, basically a place of prayer, a house of God. There you go. House of God. And so that's the word. That's what Bethel means, house of God. And so that's what they did, is set it up. And he also said that this will be a place where we will not only praise God, but he also and we will always talk about tithing. I think this might have been the first time in the Bible it talked about giving a tenth, because this is exactly what what Jacob said he would do, is that going forward he would give a tenth of everything that he gets. Okay, because of that encounter. That encounter with God changed him. Okay, so we've been talking about how he duped his brother and got he did some dirt and called it clean when it came to his brother Esau. But he had an encounter with God right now, and that might just have done something to him, right? And I'm sure it did. Right. Okay. So.
Yeah, so definitely, when you have an encounter with God, I mean, it changes things. Mm-hmm. It changes things, and you are never the same once you have that true encounter with God, mm-hmm. and you'll know that you were in the presence of God. Mm-hmm. It's just I can't even describe the feeling.
You'll know.
You'll know.
You'll know.
You'll know.
So that's pretty much what everything is about chapter 28. And as I said earlier, I said before we close out, it was one last thing I wanted to say. I didn't even tell my wife about it, but I do want to say this in closing. And I'm if anybody knows me, my wife can tell you I am not a political person. I am not that guy. Okay, so don't even come talk to me about politics, because I'm not the guy to talk to about politics. But the reality is, what just took place on Tuesday, like it or not, it's our reality. Okay, there's nothing any of us can go back and change. Okay, it's our reality. The main thing that I want us to know and understand and get out of this is that God is still in charge. God is still in control of all of that. Do not cast your cares on man. Do not put your confidence in man. We just going to trust God. Don't matter how you voted. Don't matter how you liked it or didn't like the outcome. At the end of the day, we want to put all of our cares, all of our hope, all of our everything into God and allow him to be in control. He has control of everything. He knows what's going on. He see it, he hear it, he know it. So it is what it is. But this is not a time for us to be separate. Some way, somehow, let's pray and ask for us to come together. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Okay, come on.
Well, I don't think you really needed to close the book on Genesis 28, because that's kind of how that chapter ended. Because although Jacob has to move on and move forward to Laban, he tells God, if you will protect me, if you will, provide for me, if you will, watch over me as I make it
provide me clothing and water and everything.
Laban's house, if you would do this, I will definitely come back to this land, and I will definitely worship you as my God. And so that's what Ron is basically saying. We're saying the same thing. Lord, if you watch over us, if you keep us, if you provide for us, if you take care of us, we're going to continue to worship you as our God.
That's it.
And that's it.
That's it. So stay focused on him. All that politics stuff, he got that. You just focus on what he called you to do, because the reality is you got some stuff and things that you need to be doing anyway when it comes to you and your life. Focus on what God has called you to do, not on that stuff. You focus on what, I'm not telling you don't be mindful of what's happening. You want to be mindful of what's happening, but that's not where you're going to put your focus. Your focus is going to be on what God called you to do, and you move forward in the things that he has for you to do, because that's where your peace, your joy, and your blessings are tied to. So go get it. And as we always tell you, what you supposed to do? No, forget it. Pray, plan, prepare, proceed. Go make it do what it do. I knew she won't with it. Love y'all. We'll see you next week.